Welcome to this week of Beanie and The Boom, myself and Boom Heron. We're doing a little bit different this week. We don't have a guest. So, yeah, kind of get used to that. We're probably going to start doing these things maybe multiple times a week where, myself and Boom are, coming at you, giving you our thoughts on what's going on in the sports world and our lives, and then bringing you a guest on in that second episode that we do on a weekly basis. How was the weekend for you? No, first off, I know how the weekend was for you. Happy belated birthday. Boom just turned 30 years old, man. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it, man. The weekend was great, man. Went down to Florida, spent some time with my family and some of my friends, man. So it was a good time, man.
Was it a Florida visit, like a Miami type visit, like a turn up, or was it?
Nah, it wasn't.
Just chill out.
It wasn't no turn up, man. I think that 30 has definitely sunk in, man, and it was kind of more chill, relaxed, just catching up with some friends. Got on the water a little bit and just chilling for real.
Man, that's different for Check My Net Worth Boom. Man. Boom likes to go home and party a little bit, turn up.
Hey, you ain't lying, man. I mean, my crowd was a little older too, so I think they was kind of rubbing off on me as well, man. They got kids and
I know
so
how that shit is. You go
that plays a difference.
You want to relax. You don't really want to go turn up, man. You want to kick back by the beach and enjoy yourself.
They get away from their kids, so they're like, oh man, this is some free time where we could just relax, So I'm like,
I seen something though, man. When you were on that trip, I seen you was on a yacht, man. That was big time right there, my man.
Yeah, the fam, came through, and that was one of my things. I said, I was like, I ain't really want to go out to the clubs and go out and turn up and be checking network, boom. I wanted to relax, get on the water, and just enjoy myself. So they made that happen for me, man. I was very appreciative of that. Man,
no question, man. I'm glad you had a good time.
Happy
belated birthday again. But something important was going on while you were down there in Florida, man. And I want to get your thoughts on March Madness, man. Did you get a chance to see any of it? Was you paying attention to certain games throughout the weekend?
Honestly, I didn't see a ton. Obviously, I know you went to a couple of the games,
right?
But I did see a couple big games. Obviously, I wanted to see the Duke UCF game. I seen Iowa and Tennessee game. Those were the two major games that I seen, and it was some real crazy games.
Man, shit was crazy all weekend. I had a chance. Obviously, if you guys don't know, they had the first round here in Columbus down to Nationwide.
Right.
And
that's big time.
Huge.
It's big time.
It was crazy. Columbus is one of those cities, man, that can support just about any major event that you could possibly want.
Right.
And having the opportunity to go see that, and, dude, I was there fucking all day long. When I got there, the first game started at 12:50. The last game, which was North Carolina, Iona, didn't end probably until close to 11 o'clock, man. So I literally put in a shift there like I was at work the entire time. But, dude, it was incredible games. One of the games that really pissed me off, though, earlier on Friday was Cincinnati. Cincinnati losing to Iowa. That's
a home game for them.
That's what I'm saying. It was a home game.
Come on, UC. What y'all doing?
They traveled so well there. It was packed full of Cincinnati fans. And for those guys to go out and to basically give that game away, not be able to beat the press, I mean, it's like, come on, man. Nobody really wanted to see Iowa advance because for the city of Columbus, we know a couple of things. Obviously, you're getting a chance to travel right up the road if you're Cincinnati and make this thing a home game. Yep. And then for the city of Columbus, this is a revenue-driving thing.
Oh, right, absolutely.
I mean, you got an opportunity to create so much money for the city and to put a good look on. And, when you are Cincinnati, you're a home team essentially, and you lose, the fanfare is going to be a little bit different through the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I definitely wasn't liking. And then I get a chance to watch Sundays. I'll get to Sunday's game, but as the games are going on, Tennessee, we're watching those guys play. Admiral Schofield, the craziest thing in the world, man. Admiral Schofield is one of Tennessee's best players.
Right.
Number 5, small forward. Maybe they're power forward there for them. But this is a kid who I watched in Arizona when his brother was playing for the Cardinals. I would watch him come to the games, being this little skinny-ass kid, but watching him ball, dude.
Yeah.
It was like
he muscular now, though, right?
Oh man, so big.
Yeah, I'm about to say he like a tight end.
Man, he's ripped up. But it was a joy to get a chance to see him play, man, and watch him ball in the games this weekend.
That's sweet.
But then getting to Sunday's game and watching Iowa versus Tennessee, and watching Iowa the first half get the shit beat out of them.
Yeah,
getting the shit beat out of them, just dogged and dominated by Tennessee the entire game. Boom. And then watching how they all of a sudden made a resurgence? And you said you watched that game.
Man, honestly, I was at our boy Brian Rubisky's house, man. We had just got done doing something, and I was able to catch like the second half because obviously the first half was super ugly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we was all texting each other at the same time. They were starting to come back, man, and then I was like, dang, they about to really come back. So actually at this point, I'm like, I wanted Iowa to come back and win.
Right.
But obviously, towards the end, Tennessee started hitting some big time shots. Obviously, they went overtime, and after overtime, I was like, I don't know if they got enough juice to,
you got to get it when you got them,
man. Yeah. So as you saw, in overtime, Tennessee just took advantage, and you seen some of their guys that usually don't step up and made some big time shots, and they pulled it off, man. That was a huge win for them.
There's been a lot of talk about that game, more specifically about the guy that I talked about, Admiral Schofield.
Right.
I don't know if you really noticed, late in the game, he had 4 fouls,
right?
But he pulled himself out of the game.
Yeah.
He put himself out of the game and said, you know what, I can't play how I normally would play with 4 fouls.
Yeah.
So we didn't see him at all the back end of the game or at all in the in overtime.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Why ain't he in the game?
Yeah.
And then I hear in the press conference why he pulled himself out.
He's aggressive.
No, he is real aggressive.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on something like that? And one of those games to where it's win or go home, and you got one of your best players pulling himself out because he knows you know what, I'm not at my best. Is it one of those things where it's like, all right, man, are you considering you quit on the team, or do you understand, like, all right, man, this is a smart move that this dude decided to make because he wanted somebody else that was going to be able to put a better effort out there on the court than himself? Or it's like, all right, man, you quit on us, man. You could have got the foul and fouled out.
What year is he?
He's junior.
I mean,
he'll be drafted this year. I don't know about. He's not going to be a lottery pick. He'll be drafted this year.
In my opinion, this is win or go home.
Right.
Me, it's tough for me to just sit on the bench and not be competing with my family, with my teammates out there. So I mean, was it the smart thing to do? He knows himself better than we do. His coach obviously, had to make a decision to let him sit on the bench.
It was smart, but they played better.
They played better, yeah.
Right.
So obviously it was the right thing. Obviously he knew that maybe if I stayed in the game, I might have messed up the chemistry or something. I mean, who knows what could have happened if he would have been in the game. What if he would have been in the game and they lost?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He would have made another foul and could have just changed the whole game. I mean, but me, in my opinion, if that was me, I want to be out there competing and fight with my brothers. So that's just tough for me.
It is tough as hell, man.
It's tough.
Like you said, as a competitor, you want to be out there. You're going to go guns blazing.
Right.
Shit, I'm going to get 5 fouls.
Right. If I'm going out, I'm going out.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's how I looked at it. But you really understood when they won and when you watched the way that the team played a little bit better with him being out there, man. Right. So that was one of the takeaways from this weekend, man, is watching that game and watching them kind of, watching Iowa really make a resurgence in that game, who a lot of people didn't have them making it out of the first round, man. Right. It was kind of crazy to watch those guys put together a nice comeback and to constantly just stick together and do it. Man, that's one of the things I love about March Madness, man. Any fucking thing can happen, bro.
Anything can happen. It's just a crazy time. I mean, you talked about that game. I'm gonna talk about the Duke game, the
right?
UCF
Oh
game.
My gosh!
Because honestly, anybody, they were supposed to lose that game.
Oh, there's no question about it.
I've been telling people. I mean, for now, I don't see them losing. But before this, man, I was like, man, there's gonna be a team out there that's gonna compete against them. They're gonna play them hard. They're gonna shoot better than them. They're gonna out rebound them, and they're gonna end up slipping up and beating them. And UCF lost that game. You know what I'm saying?
They had the perfect shot at the end of the game. It was almost like, really, man, when you watch it, you ever watch those movies and shit where somebody got control over the basketball?
Right.
The ball circled around the damn rim and then just came off. I was like, what the fuck is what is this? Man. There's supposed to be a bucket. That's supposed to be game over.
Man, God was on their side.
Oh, there's no question, man.
God was on Duke's side.
God and everybody else,
right,
whose bracket was going to be busted,
right,
was on their side, man.
Yeah.
Just think about the gamblers. I mean, how much money would have been lost? And that's what makes me think, when you watch these games that are of such high magnitude and mean so much, man, it makes you almost think, is the fixing on this, man? What's somebody doing, man? Are the referees knowing what's happening right here, man? Are they making calls, calling fouls for the betterment of somebody else?
So what you think? Do you think it's fixed?
Nah, I don't. Man. See, when somebody says something is fixed, it disrespects the players that are out there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Now, I don't think that the players have anything to do with something being fixed a lot of the time. Obviously, there's been cases in years past where we've seen that. But a lot of the time, it's more so, the referees, the coaches, and some of the adjustments they make in terms of pitting guys in games that shouldn't be in there at critical moments, or the referees calling calls. This particular game, I don't think so. But, man, it does make you wonder when you look at this shit and like they should have really lost that game.
Man.
Another one, man, which was crazy, and I know North Carolina ended up winning, but man, watching them play versus Iona on Friday night, and this is my first time getting a chance to see North Carolina in action in my entire life, and I always wanted to watch them play.
They was getting smacked.
Dude, I've never seen a team shoot the ball as well as Iona did in the first half, and they were shooting like 52%. It's me, Boog, our boy Lawrence, my homeboy Mister, and a couple other people in the suite, but one of the guys that was in there was Satch Sullinger.
Okay.
And that's JJ and Jared's dad. And he knows basketball more than just about anybody that was sitting in that suite.
For sure.
And me and him both like, what kind of strategy is this that these dudes are just shooting threes from anywhere on the court?
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? That's the way that they're probably going to have the best chance of winning. But I'll tell you one thing. Those legs going to run out.
Oh, yeah.
And second half came around, dude. It was a completely different game. That's when you watch the young freshman Kobe White take over that game, and North Carolina, man, took their ass to the rack, and it was a wrap for that. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a crazy game. But overall, man, March Madness is one of my favorite times of the year, Boom.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really pay attention to a lot of college basketball outside of the tournament time because, to me, man, that's like your back is against the wall, and anything can happen.
Yeah. Now, was this your first time going to like a game or
not a tournament game, but it was my first time going to a thing in which I spent the entire day there.
Man, I had the opportunity. Our boy Ian.
Right.
The tournament was in Houston when I was living in Houston, and I had the chance to go to the Final Four game and then the national championship game. And when I say that was an experience, so I'm glad that you had the opportunity to go and check some tournament games out. But bro, the
Final Four national championship, the atmosphere got to be nuts.
Oh man,
and I'm willing to bet the Final Four atmosphere was probably more intense than the national championship.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I don't know, man. That Gonzaga was Gonzaga and North Carolina, and you got to remember they won the game on a last minute shot.
Gonzaga?
Oh yeah. It was insane, bro. I still got videos on my phone there, man. We went nuts.
Was that the one where the coach said, well, I can't think of the coach's name, but I remember what you're talking about, where he hit the shot. Buddy hit the shot. It was a three-pointer.
Yeah.
But the coach, as soon as it went in the air, he said, bang. Now, that was the coldest shit I had ever seen, man. The coldest thing I ever seen. I'm watching the coach.
That.
Oh, yeah, he said, bang. Just turned away and didn't look at the shot, but automatically knew it was going in.
Wow.
I remember that like it was yesterday, man. So I could imagine that one being crazy to see it in person.
It was crazy.
When you look at Ohio State, and their season, obviously they were 20-15, weren't very good. They were able to get into the tournament based off of how they had played in the early season. Did you have them winning the game in the tournament?
I didn't even have them getting in the tournament. Obviously, we haven't been that great in basketball in the last couple of years.
No, man. Last year we was good as hell.
Was we?
Yes. We won the conference. I mean, we looked damn good last year.
All right. Well,
this first year.
I'm a Ohio State fan, so my expectations are very high, Beanie.
I mean, I think that was very high for last year.
Yeah,
when we did.
Yeah. I mean, we got a young team, man. I see we got some new recruits coming in, some big time players that's supposed to be coming in. So I think we're going in the right direction. Did I have us winning the game? No, I don't think so. I was happy to see them go that far, though.
Right.
I was happy to see them go that far. I think the new coach is doing a great job.
I love Hogan, man.
I think they're going in the right direction, man.
I think they're going in the right direction too, man. But a lot of people didn't have Ohio State getting out of the first round, man. I was one of them crazy ass people who made a bracket.
Man, no time you had them going like all the way.
Dude, let me tell you. So
you had them being that sneak team that was just like
I did. I had Ohio State
in the back door.
I had them going to the Sweet 16. I had them beating Houston and make it into the Sweet 16.
Houston on fire, though.
No, Houston's legit. They're a good-ass basketball team, but when you watch Ohio State and you watch how they were able to be in that game down the stretch, bringing it to within 4, bringing it to within 5, and just keep on letting it go. We didn't shoot well from our free throw percentage was terrible. And we could have rebounded a little bit better, but Ohio State's one of them teams. They can play some scrappy-ass defense, and they did in that game. And, so I do think the future is bright. Obviously, we got to bring in a couple more pieces to the puzzle. But I like Holtman, man, and I like the direction he has this team going in. But the question I have for you, when you're 20-15, but you're able to make it to the second round of the playoffs, or not playoffs, of the tournament, is that a consolation prize for you and your team? Do you look at them a little bit differently and saying, all right, man, we was able to do something? Or is it like, nah, man, we still had a shitty-ass year?
No, you got to look at it as, we built something. We're taking steps, We're taking steps. I mean, not everybody has the opportunity to even make it to the tournament.
Right.
I mean, we could have went to the not-in tournament, you know what I'm saying, the NIT. But instead, we got in the tournament. We made some noise. We won a game. Shoot, you got to look at that as, you building blocks.
Who you got in your Final Four, man? We're getting down, and we're getting ready to see this Sweet 16 coming up this week, and it's gonna get down to the nitty-gritty before you know it.
I got Virginia, Houston, Michigan, and Duke.
You got Virginia?
Yes.
Virginia? Man, have you not watched Virginia the past couple of years? Hell, Virginia almost lost. Who was it? The Gardner-Webb that they played just over the weekend? Virginia sucks. Check that. I'm not going to say they sucks because they are, I believe, a 1 or 2 seed. Fuck no. Virginia is always a team in the playoff in the tournament. Boom, they may win.
Who you got in your Final Four, man?
They may win 1 or 2 games.
Who you got in your Final Four, man?
But Virginia's a team when you're doing a bracket, you can never count on those guys to make it down the stretch because they always falter. Always, man. So you got to read. I mean, you already got it done. That's all. That's who you pick. But Virginia, man, that's nasty, man. But in my Final Four, man, you ask me who I got. I got Duke. I got Tennessee.
Obviously.
I got North Carolina, and I got Michigan State. I think those are going to be tough matchups. I
like Michigan State, man.
I love Michigan State. I love Izzo.
I got a little love for them anyway because,
I mean, your brothers went there. So, I mean, you almost went to Michigan State too, didn't you?
A lie again. I was in 8th, 9th grade, and everybody was telling me, like, man, you better not come here, man. I'm talking about I was going to the basketball teams. I was going to the girls' basketball practice, bro. I had the girls' basketball team telling me not to come here, man.
For real?
It was bad, yeah. You got to think around that time, it was bad. Obviously, the basketball teams was good, but everybody knew I was going to come here for football, and
I thought you almost went to Michigan State, man, because they went there.
No, man. They ain't even told me not to go. You know what I'm saying?
They had crazy-ass John L. Smith as their head coach. I mean, this dude slapping the shit out of themselves in press conference.
It was
so I don't blame you for that.
Yeah.
But what we did see with Michigan State over the weekend, something that got a lot of eyes and ears on it, and that was Izzo yelling at freshman Aaron Henry, all up in his face, chastising him. And we're going to play a little cut from what Izzo said after the fact. And, tell me how you feel about Izzo's words after the fact and him chastising a player.
Yeah.
There were some things Aaron didn't do a very good job of. And yet, you know what? Like happened, I did get after him, and he did respond, and he did make a couple big buckets, and he did make some big free throws. But that's not good enough. This is one and done time, Right. The my bads are out the window. If they're my bads because that team played better or that guy played better, if it's my bad because I decided to jog back instead of sprint back, then it is your bad, and you're going to hear about it.
I love those words, Izzo.
Man, what? I like Izzo as a coach, man. I think he's one of the best coaches in basketball, in college basketball. I mean, he's just one of those coaches, you can tell he really cares about his players. You know what I'm saying? Not just on the court, but off the court as well. And if you can't take the coaching, man, that's part of, being coachable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the coach is going to get in your face. Obviously, the coach is going to push you. I mean, was it a little extra? Man, yeah, it was. But, hey, it's tournament time.
Exactly.
So you got to understand, like, come on, man. Hey, like he said, it's one and done. Ain't no more my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's my bad and you lose the game, then, like he said, it is your bad.
I mean, and to me, I think we've gotten too soft as a culture to where anytime a coach is chastising a player and is viewed on TV and all eyes are on it, the first thing everybody goes to does, go to Twitter. Oh, he shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have embarrassed the kid.
Right.
I saw something. I can't remember who it was from. Well, coaches know who they can do that to and who they can't do that to. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, a coach should be able to come to you and say, man, you fucking up, man.
Yeah.
Get your head out your ass and let's go.
Bro, and we in the tournament.
Exactly.
Like, come on, bro.
So do you agree that we've gotten too soft as a culture and people are overly sensitive when we see things like that?
The world has gotten soft, man. I mean, you can't hardly take no criticism. Now that people are just, I don't know. It's 2019 and the world is just gotten soft. If you don't want your child to be coached, you know, for him to be better, for him to be great, you know, and for him to go to the next level, then don't send your kids to the top schools because he's getting paid a lot of money to do his job. And all that coach was doing, all Izzo was doing his job. He wants the best out of his players. So you're going to do whatever it is to get the best out of your player. If your child does something wrong at home, you're going to get on them, right?
No question.
You know what I'm saying? What's the difference?
Nothing. Let me tell you a story real quick, man. It's the craziest thing in the world, man, because parents are almost like are at a stage where you can't hold your kids accountable to some bullshit that they do. I'm in a store one day, right? And you know my kids. You know my kids wild as
crazy.
Hell. And, you know, CJ, who's my most rambunctious son, is running around a store. And I'm like, get your ass over here and stand right here. And I give him that look. And I'm like, get over here, man. Come on. Stop doing all that, man. A lady comes up to me and says, you know what? You really shouldn't say that and embarrass your son like that. And I'm like, what? So if my son is out here just tearing up and he's out here wild as can be, then everybody's looking at, oh, where the fuck is his parents? What is his parents doing?
Right.
How come nobody's chastising this kid and keeping him in check? But because I am keeping my kid in check and because I'm in public, because somebody's seen it, you want to say something? I'm like, hey, man, go ahead. I said, this is my kid. He ain't yours.
So did you say?
Yes. I said, this is my son. He's not yours.
Okay.
And then she walked away. She's probably butthurt about it, but I'm like, there's no way I'm going to let my child.
So you didn't smack him? You didn't?
No, I didn't smack him. I told my son, man, get your ass over here. That's what I said. And maybe people do seem that being a little, oh, he's cussing at his kid. Well, no, this is my son, and this is how I talk. I'm not cussing. You MF, you doing this. Hey, boy, get your ass right here. And I said it just like that. Like I'm whispering it, get your ass right here.
Yeah.
And she must have overheard me saying it.
But you know what? You and your kids, y'all have a relationship, and they know when Dad say
exactly, get your ass over here.
Yeah,
you better get over here and straighten up.
He ain't playing. He ain't
right.
playing around. So, if anything, that woman was wrong for approaching you, trying to tell you how to raise your kids.
Exactly, and it goes back to what I'm saying and what we're seeing with Izzo. I mean, it's like we're in an overly sensitive point right now in our culture to where you can't hold people accountable. You can't chastise somebody when they're doing something wrong without them or somebody else being offended about it.
Yeah.
That's what I can't stand, especially in the world of sports, man. People get overly sensitive.
This is the last thing I'll say about the Izzo's situation. Now if we were talking about a coach that has had a losing record, he has no kids graduating, he has no kids going to the next level, then that's easy to say, that coach is wrong, that coach,
well, I don't even think then though.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm just putting, I'm just saying, you got to respect that man because he's won multiple Big Ten championships. He's won some national championships. He's put multiple guys in the NBA. I'm sure multiple of his guys have graduated. And even his past players, have spoken up and said, we support this. Mm-hmm. If my child was playing for that team, you got to let that coach be the coach. Now, if he over there putting his hands on them and, other situations like that, then that's different.
Right.
But if he's yelling at him because he wants the best out of him, then you got to respect that, man. And that's the last thing I got to say about this situation.
No doubt, man. Did you do a bracket this year?
No.
You got your Final Four, but you didn't do a bracket. Yeah. And it made me –
maybe that's why I got Virginia in that.
But I always get curious about brackets. But every year, Warren Buffett does this bracket for his employees.
Right.
He has
they can win a meal, right?
Yeah, they get the chance to win $1 million for life if they guess the correct Sweet 16 winners. Not the entire bracket, the correct Sweet 16 winners.
Oh, okay.
And he got over 390 employees, over 390,000, I believe, employees at Berkshire
Jesus
Hathaway. I think it's something like
Christ.
that. And my deal with that is, like, you make it almost impossible for somebody to win
Right.
that $1 million for life. It changed the terms of it. I love
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. But then he also flipped it, and as a caveat, he allows whoever has the best record for the entire bracket, they get a chance to win $100,000. So last year, 8 people all had the same amount, so they got to split $100,000, which is cool. But like, you Warren Buffett, man, you want to rich
Hold
people in the
on.
world.
They had to split
Had
100,000.
to split $100,000. Like, come on, man, change that up a little bit.
I mean, the man is filthy rich, man. He just trying to do something.
No, I
with
get
some
it, I
money,
get it,
y'all.
but
He
we all, you know how we
tax right off of him.
We always
you know?
want more anyway.
Right. Spoiled.
Boom, my man. Shifting over to the NBA, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going with this? In 2005 was the last time this one thing happened.
LBJ.
LBJ not in the playoffs.
Mm.
That is a long-ass time
And you know
for
what?
an individual to have made the playoffs consistently year after year. And then not only consistently, most of those years, we're talking about him being in the finals.
Yeah. Oh, 8 years straight, right?
8 years straight.
I'm tired of y'all, these people coming at my man Bron like this, man. I'm tired of it, man. LeBron is the GOAT. And I'm going to say it like that, like my boy Shannon Sharp say, LeBron is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Hey, now when I say the GOAT, obviously we got Jordan. You know, we have that argument. But in our generation, bruh, he the GOAT.
Oh, there's no question about
You know
it.
what I'm saying? And people are just acting like he ain't good no
Right.
more. You know?
LeBron arguably this year, I think he's averaging 28 points a game, maybe 9 rebounds and 6-7 assists. If they were winning, he would be arguably in the MVP race.
Right.
So that's the crazy part. And then obviously you look at the fact that he missed 18 games. When
That's another
he
thing.
missed those 18 games. When he stopped, they were the 4 seed. So obviously we know
That's another thing.
you know how difficult that was for those guys to jump back up and get back in that race with LeBron James being out that many games and all the other variables of individuals being injured on that basketball team.
Yeah, I mean the whole year. I mean the whole team has been nobody. That team has not been. I mean it's almost impossible for the team to be 100%, but that team has been injury prone like the whole year.
Right.
If it wasn't one person, it was another person.
Rondo
that
was
hurt.
out at one point in time. Lonzo was out. I mean,
They just had a lot
Brandon
of
Ingram's out.
Yeah. They just went through a lot this year. And then if LeBron sit out one game, he's giving up on his team. Come on, bro.
Next year, we in there. We getting AD. It's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap, man. But and what I wanted to get to with this, man, some of the things that were not around or just getting started the last time LeBron was in the playoffs. This shit blew my mind when I seen it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So 2005 was the last time LeBron wasn't in the playoffs. Netflix only delivered DVDs.
What?
Didn't have the streaming service.
I never even knew about that.
I remember Netflix delivering DVDs.
I don't remember that.
But that's all that they did was deliver DVDs. And I remember when they first came out, you know, how cool that was. Oh, man, you no longer have to go to the video store. You can just, get a subscription and they can send you whatever movie that you want. So Netflix,
How long did it take?
It probably took a couple of days.
Oh.
So Netflix only delivered DVDs. Check this. There was no iPhone. Apple was around, but there was no iPhone. Can you imagine what our lives would be like, or what was our lives like without iPhones? I mean, this shit was wild.
What was you carrying when before you had an iPhone?
Before I had an iPhone, I had a Sidekick. This was back when having 2 phones was cool. I
And
had a
this chirp. I know you had this chirp.
I never got the chirp.
Oh, come on.
I never got the chirp, man. I had the Sidekick. One point in time, I had a BlackBerry, and I had the Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
I had the Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
So what you had? You had a chirp?
I had the chirp and the Sidekick, but I don't know if you remember the 2-way.
I never got one of those.
Man.
That was out of my. I mean, I was in middle school when 2-ways came out. There's no way my mom was getting me a 2-way. She didn't even give me a cell phone. I mean, I couldn't afford that, man. That was out of my price range for sure.
I got you.
And so another thing, YouTube was just founded in 2005.
Wow.
When LeBron was not in the playoffs, and the biggest entertainer, or one of the biggest entertainers of our time, was just known as Wheelchair Jimmy. Drake.
Wow.
Drake wasn't around in 2005. It wasn't around as an artist, shit. He was around as, wheelchair Jimmy.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy as hell, man. That's wild as hell. But nonetheless, LeBron, the Lakers will be back in the playoffs next year. Mark my words.
He even said it,
Yeah, I already know, man.
He put his post out there and said this, the people just got to be patient, man. You got to think. I mean, you go to L.A. and people got to understand. I think LeBron's move to L.A. was way bigger than just basketball. He got a lot going on there.
Right.
And I think it's for the long run, and I think it's a great thing. Obviously, the Lakers going to get something done. I mean, like I said, we had a lot of injuries and whatnot, but it's a lot of great free agents out there, and I think they're going to definitely get him some help around there. And the thing about LeBron is he doesn't need, like, a lot of help.
Right.
He just needs some guys that could, play around him and be well and do well. If we get one good shooter and one big man,
we're good, man. We'll be fine, man.
Yeah.
I want to switch over, man, to what's going on with LeBron's teammate, man. Lonzo Ball, I don't know if you read it, but somebody was stealing. A co-founder of BBB, Big Baller Brand, stole apparently $1.5 million. And then you had Lonzo Ball come out and say, I'm done with BBB. I'm my own man. I'm going on my own. And now there's talk of, I say LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball. Now there's talk of LeVar Ball potentially scrapping BBB because of this close friend, this co-founder that they had stealing from him. And what's your take on that, man? Do you think it's time for them to scrap BBB? Should Lonzo have stepped up a long time ago and said, I'm my own man, I'm not letting my dad dictate my career?
First off, there should never even been a BBB.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that, though. Go ahead, give me your take on it.
Hold on. Now, if it was where I think BBB was more his dad's thing,
right,
than the boys' thing. I think if the Suns would have had, way more control of everything, I think it could have went, in a great way. But you let this maniac dad of theirs try to run a business for them. And now it's I don't know if you've seen, and like you said, I don't know the whole story, but the guy that was stealing money from them, if you check his record, I seen something where he was
in jail for
he was a fraud,
fraud
guy. I mean, he was stealing multiple millions of dollars from a lot of other people. So it's like, Pops, did you do your homework before you hired this man? And another thing is, where's their mother at? Like, usually when you got a crazy father like that that's doing all this crazy stuff, you get the mom that steps in and be like, baby, come on now. You gotta chill or something.
In this case, mom was just being mom. She ain't want nothing to do with the business. She just want to support her boys. Well, I don't think it's about money. I think it's just her just supporting her boys and her staying out of it. And I can see that. But I mean, you say you don't think it should have been a BBB. I do. I believe that it was a great thing, them coming out with their own brand. Maybe they should have went and did things a little bit differently. I mean,
maybe they should have branched off with something.
In the earlier parts, I mean, Nike had interest in BBB, Under Armour had interest in BBB, Adidas did. So maybe you partner with those guys and still have creative control and some of the things that you want to do. But for a basketball player to come out of college to have his own brand like that, apparel brand, and to be able to kind of utilize that and be signed to himself, I thought that shit was genius. And I know the next person that does it will come out and will look at BBB like a case study and say, what did they do wrong? What are some of the things that they weren't able to do successful that I can kind of tweak and I can make this thing a hit? Because when you look at the BBB brand shit, they made money.
I mean, don't get me wrong when I say there should have never been it. Great idea of them, having that, but the man that they had running the show, man, that's the first thing I think about when I hear BBB. So it's like him and BBB should have never even been like, in the mix of things.
Now how much does this make it harder for other athletes or just other people in business to say, you know what, I'm going to trust my dad or I'm going to trust a family friend to run this business for me?
Well, Beans, you know how it is.
But we got somebody who do it successful. We got LeBron. I mean, you always got the LeBron model. The dude is successful at bringing his team in the game and blowing shit out the water. Everything they touch is essentially going to be gold.
Yeah, but how many times do you get guys like a LeBron James. I mean, he has a great group of guys, and I think LeBron just has a group of guys. Everybody just know their role. And you know how it is when you.
But it got to be more than knowing your role, because LeBron ain't going out and signing those contracts and creating opportunities.
Exactly. But
obviously people want him because he is who he is, but there still has to be a level of somebody going through and making sure this is a good deal and going out and seeking, like the Liverpool deal, the soccer team. LeBron ain't go out and create that. I couldn't imagine LeBron saying, "Hey, I want to all of a sudden own a soccer team."
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing this for how long now?
They've been doing it some time. Shit, Brown's been in the league, 16 years, something like that, 15?
I'm sure at the beginning stage, all those guys weren't even – I mean, they were friends, but they weren't all working together at the time.
Right.
They've had some time to learn the system, learn the business side, and they've elevated.
But nonetheless, he still entrusted people that were close to him.
Yeah.
But my thing is, how much is it going to make it harder now that we see these cases – like the LeVar and Lonzo Ball with BBB? They trusted somebody,
you just gotta know,
Alan
man.
Foster, to be the co-founder of BBB, and he robs them of $1.5 million.
I mean, it really just comes down to you just gotta really know. You gotta do your homework. You gotta do your background check. I mean, I don't care if it's your dad, your mom, your grandma, whoever it is. You gotta really just in your gut feeling. Just because it's your family, you can be like, I'm gonna let him handle all this.
Right.
No, you can't do that. You got to find somebody with some experience. You got to find somebody that you could actually really trust. And you might have to burn some bridges with some people that you thought could handle the situation. But only time will tell with all situations like that. You just have to really find the person that you really trust.
Man, I damn sure hope that becomes the case, man, for a lot of guys. I hope
he get all his bread back.
He probably ain't, man. That's a situation. I mean, sometimes what's lost. You can sue a guy, but shit, I seen people sue people for tens of millions of dollars. Just because you sue them and you win, don't mean they necessarily got to fork it over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just hope it doesn't ruin every other situation for a young athlete that says, you know what, I want to create my own, and I want people that are close to me to be able to create it with me. Yeah. I just hope it encourages them to kind of do a little bit more due diligence on who they're hiring and making sure that these people are going to be qualified. They've gained that experience, because it's a bad look right now with this shit. Yeah. It's a very bad look.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, guys. All you young guys who have the opportunity to make a lot of money, is just be smart about who you have around you, who you trust in, and do your homework on all your people. I mean, because one person can ruin everything, All it takes is one wrong person to be in your circle, and it can end it all, man.
Man, pull you down from so many different ways, man. I hate that shit happened to him, though, man.
Right.
I really do.
It's a bad out, but obviously, hopefully, it's one of those things where he could learn from this and he could bounce back and they could turn this thing around. I mean, you see a lot of guys who go through some things and bad things happen, and they find a way to make it a good thing,
right?
And obviously, he could help other people out there that want to start maybe their own brand or something like that. So he could turn it around. I think he could turn it around. Obviously, losing money is a big deal, but he can get it back. I mean, he's still in the NBA,
right? Exactly. Exactly.
So,
1.5. That's a lot of money to lose, though.
Right.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
And we had one of the greats.
The
greats decided to retire. And I think a lot of people gloss over the fact of how good Gronk was during his career. I mean, this dude is definitely one of the best, arguably the best. If you want to argue with some people, I'm still a Tony Gonzalez guy, but Gronk is right there in the top 2-3 tight ends to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And he decided to retire after only 9 years. Man, what was your thought on that, man? Was you surprised?
I was a little surprised because, I think we all had that dream of playing that 10-year career.
Right.
And he was right at 9. So it's like, why not, get to that 10 and then finally be done? And then another thing, I think he got like 90-something touchdowns.
Right.
Like, why not just, get to 100 touchdowns? You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at things like that. But at the same time, a great player, a great entertainer.
Oh, there's no question.
I mean, he's a great entertainer off the field. I mean, he has a lot of people that really like him, really enjoy, what he does. And I think Gronk, like you said, he's a top 2, top 3 great. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, congratulations to him having a great career. I think he's going to come back, though. I think it's going to be one of those things.
Right.
He's retired right now.
He take a year off.
He take a year or two off, get his mind together. And he some way somehow sneaks back in. Maybe like Brady, like, all right, this is my last year. And Gronk be like, all right, I'm going to come back and play with Brady for his last year. And then we're going to win a Super Bowl. And, But, I mean, hey, the man has won, what, three or four Super Bowls. Been to the Super Bowl multiple times. Has had a great career.
It's all pro, all everything.
All pro, yeah.
And what I'm doing right now, I'm looking up the dollar amount that he's made. Gronk has made $53 million.
Yeah.
And
that's just on the field.
That's just on the field. But also look at what some of the other guys have made. You got like Antonio Brown. I mean, he's going to eclipse that $100 and some odd million in his career, and they've been in the league the same amount of years. So it makes you wonder, okay, does he retire for a little bit, like you said? Does he at some point come back healthy? His body's feeling good. He's rejuvenated and gives you another 3 years and probably get another $30 to $40 million when he comes back healthy.
I mean, it's probably going to be I honestly think he is. But you got to think, like I said, he's a great entertainer.
Right. So he's going to make a ton off the field.
There's probably somebody that's been in his ear to make him easily make this decision. Like, all right, Gronk, if you retire, we're going to give you –
we got this set up for you right
here.
We
got this $50 million for you right now. And all you got to do is sit in front of the camera and talk about this and talk about that. There's no telling what he has coming – for him, because he's, like I said, he's a great entertainer. People love him, and he's not a guy. I don't think I can't not that I can remember that he's gotten any crazy trouble or anything like that.
No, I mean,
so I mean,
he's
gonna be fine.
No question, he's gonna be fine. But I just, from the football perspective, I hate when you have these all-time greats, and I think everybody wants to be able to do it, walk out on their own terms, and retire healthy. So I get it from that perspective. But I just hate when you have the all-time greats leave the game a little bit too soon. We just watched a guy who was an all-time great, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, who was all-world and he made a shit ton of money, leave after, 9, maybe 10 years, and Calvin Johnson. We watched Barry Sanders leave after 9 years when they got some left in the tank. And now we're watching Gronk do it, man. So that's the only part that bothers me, because it makes me think, okay, man, if this guy put up these incredible numbers and made this amount of money and had this impact on his team now, you know what he still can do years after?
But you got to think, Gronk did have, like, in the last couple of years, I think he did have some real bad concussions.
Oh, I didn't think about the concussions. I knew he had he's dealt with back injuries, arm injuries. Yeah. I didn't know about the concussions.
Yeah, he didn't have some concussions. Like you said, he got the elbow. Yeah, I mean, the whole football, any position is brutal, but he does play that brutal position, that tight end, where the first thing is getting hit is that head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I mean, he coming back.
Man,
at some point, I think he coming back. So, enjoy your retirement right now.
Right, for the year.
Yeah, for the year. Go out there, play some golf, get on the water. Go. He gonna party.
Right.
He gonna go party. So, hey, enjoy it, and we'll see you when you get back.
So, we had another Conor McGregor decided to retire, too. Do you think – I think Conor's coming back. I think Conor McGregor –
same situation.
He's a polarizing figure outside of the octagon, and I think right now Conor understands –
the business side of everything?
He understands the business side of everything. You watch what Floyd Mayweather did. Floyd Mayweather retired a couple of different times at some point. He came back, got into the ring, made even more money. Now, Conor McGregor lost some fights. Floyd's never lost, so you got that. But he is a box office individual, a big-time star that's going to command a lot of people to watch him. Yeah. He's going to command a lot of dollars. So I think Conor McGregor at some point will come back because he understands the business side of things. And, I'm walking away now, I'm retiring now, but we'll see him in the octagon again.
I mean, he retired from the MMA, but did he retire from boxing as well?
No, he didn't come out and say that. Said he retired from mixed martial arts. So maybe that's the route he might go.
Who knows? I mean, either way, he's a guy that has made –
he made $100 million off the Florida fight.
So we know he paid.
Right.
We know he's another guy that's an entertainer.
Got his own whiskey that's supposedly killing the game right now.
Got his own whiskey. Got a lot going on. He's another guy who's going to have opportunities just – at his foot, because he's saying but his retirement, his tweet was kind of like I didn't take it serious.
Right.
It wasn't like he came and wrote like a real press conference type thing. He wrote a tweet and then he even made a joke at the end of it. You know,
But that's kind of his personality too, though.
I get that. So if that's his personality, is it really like, all right, next week in 2 weeks, Conor McGregor's going to be fighting
somebody.
such, you know?
Oh, that's going to be interesting, man. Real interesting. Yeah. Back to the football side of things, man. We had some crazy things go down. First, I want to hit on, man, Le'Veon Bell, that situation. Le'Veon signed a 5-year, or let me look up the contract, maybe 4-year, $52 million contract with the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Like 30-something guaranteed.
Yeah, 30-something guaranteed. And he passed up on the opportunity to take that 1 year, was a $14 million franchise tag tender.
I thought it was like 18.
No, it was 14. Hell
okay.
no. That's damn near quarterback money. It was a 1 year, $14 million franchise tag tender, and he decided to go against it. So he didn't take it. What's your thoughts? Do you think that he should have taken that franchise tag tender or not set out last year and got paid? Because the year before under the franchise, he made 12, and it was going to jump up $2 more million. So we're talking.
He got tagged twice. So he did 12.
So he got tagged twice,
13.
but he set out, so he didn't make it. He didn't make none of that money because they franchised him 2 times.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought this was the 3rd time.
No. So what's your thought, man? Should he have taken that franchise tag tender for the 2nd time, made that money, and then, hit the free agent market and got this contract?
Honestly, I'm 50-50 on it, man, because it's easy for us to say now, like, oh, he should have took that 13 million, but then if he would have got hurt, then it's like he probably still would have got paid. Be honest with you.
Exactly. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, the odds of somebody getting hurt are high, and you understand that.
And he was kind of injury prone.
Right. And I understand that, but he only got $27 million guaranteed with this new contract that he has. So if he plays the franchise tag again,
he did miss out on
he missed out on $13 million. So if he plays under the franchise tag,
and he can't get that back.
That's the thing. He'll never be able to get that back. So the first one was $12 million. The second one would have been 13. That's 25 guaranteed right there. Then I hit the free agent market next year and get a 27-piece guaranteed. I mean, we're talking $50 million in guaranteed money.
Guaranteed.
Over a 3-year span, essentially. And he's never going to be able to retrieve that back. And I get people say, oh, he would have been injured. And he even questioned, okay, would I get injured? But, I mean, I thought there would have been ways around. I would have signed that franchise tag tender. I would have went in and said, I'm not playing. I'm not touching the ball this many times in the game. I don't care what you do. Sue me, fine me, whatever you want to do.
Hey.
And then I'm saying, shit, I got a hamstring injury.
I was just about to say that. I would have went in there, practice all week. Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Right.
Hammy. Got the hammy. But I don't know if you've seen where he said, he said in the interview the other day that after week 1 that he was planning on coming back. But after his teammates was bashing him, obviously, in the media, he said, forget it, he wasn't coming back. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. But that was a bad look, too, for, the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
That organization, man. I know they're hard-nosed, blue-collar.
Got a lot of winning. I mean, won a bunch of damn Super Bowls. I mean,
but they
there's some dysfunction going on. And,
big time.
Off Le'Veon Bell, I mean, we're talking about the Antonio Brown situation as well. I mean, he was able to obviously voice his opinions on what he thought about the organization, what he thought about, Big Ben having a little bit too much control. And the GM comes out saying Big Ben is essentially a grown
father?
man, everybody else's kids. I mean, I get why he would want out of that situation. But then he parlays that shit into even more money himself, which I thought was a wild deal.
19.8?
19.8 on an annual basis, man.
Ooh.
I mean,
is that the highest in NFL period?
No, I mean it's the highest for a receiver.
Receiver,
yeah,
okay,
no question, no doubt. But for him to be able to, force his way out of, Pittsburgh, one, I thought it was a great thing that he could force his way and get more money. But when you look at it on the back end, it's like, man, what's going on in Pittsburgh? Man, this is a storied franchise, like we talked about. They won so many different Super Bowls. They're a perennial playoff team. They have one of the all-time greats at quarterback. Yet you have two of the best players in franchise history wanting out of there and have gotten out of there.
Don't forget about James Harrison.
Yeah, forget about James. At one point in time, he was out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going on there? I mean, why is it that bad in Pittsburgh to where guys don't want to be there? And what does that say not only about the organization, what does it say about Big Ben as a leader? I think you definitely have to question that.
Well, you know what? I do got to say this about Pittsburgh. You know, with what they have done with our boy Shazier, man, I think that's mad love. I mean, he gets to get his contract, I think, this year. That's
they paid him $10 million this year to not even play.
Which is
crazy. Beautiful.
And that's love, bro.
Right.
And obviously, you know, it's a great situation. I'm happy for him. Maybe we should get him on the show, man. And I know he might not speak on it too much, but he might give us a little insight.
We'd love to get Shazier on the show, man. So
he might give us a little insight, but he ain't
gonna give us that much insight when the team just paying him $10 million to play those. I mean, how much is he gonna give us about what's going on?
That's why I say he probably ain't gonna give us too much, but I mean he could. I don't know. You know, I'd love to have him on the show though.
Oh no, for sure, man. Just for other reasons.
It's gonna be an interesting year for Pittsburgh. I seen Skip Bailey saying something crazy. He talking about he's putting Big Ben as the front runner for MVP because of everything that's going on.
He should be motivated to prove that, you know, I can make anybody.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. You lose two big weapons like that.
Man, exactly.
That's hard to come over.
No question. I mean, those guys accounted for.
And I think Juju Smith is a great receiver, great athlete, but I think a lot of his success comes from AB being on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now you got to see if he's going to be the number one guy. Right. You got the running back. He's coming back. I mean, I think they do got a lot of motivation to prove everybody wrong there. But it's not going to happen overnight. You know how it is, Beans.
And both of those guys' careers in Pittsburgh, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, they accounted for 19,000 yards combined. That's a lot of production to lose. It'll be interesting.
Probably over 100 touchdowns.
Yeah, man, no question. Easily. That's going to be a lot of production, but that leaves the room for my Brownies, baby. My Brownies, who just went out and made the blockbuster trade. This is probably the biggest trade that I can think of the past, would you say 5 years in the NFL? Biggest trade of the past 5 years off the top of my head? I mean, them trading for Odell Beckham Jr., can you think of a larger trade? Nah. Antonio Brown was cool. That was good. It sucked that they only got a third and a fifth round pick for him, a guy who's arguably one of the best in his prime. But Odell is so polarizing for a team like Cleveland that you can watch and see that's on the horizon.
Man, I did not. Somebody could tell me a million times, man, we about to get Odell Beckham. I'd be like, man, what you been drinking?
Right.
You know, when I seen it happen, my mouth dropped, bro. I couldn't believe it. Because it's like, I can't even see a guy like this guy in a Browns uniform.
I can see it all day
long. Man, obviously, but I'm saying as a you know, I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm that bandwagon guy, because I'm not a guy that has a favorite team in the NFL, but I root for the Browns because it's the home team.
Right.
You know, when I was a kid, I was a Cowboys fan because, you know, I love Emmitt Smith. And obviously, they was the best team. So, you know, when you're a kid, you root for the best team. So, but, you know, I ain't going to lie. I ordered me a brown shirt the other day. A dog got to eat.
Right.
I sure did order me one of them boys the other day.
Bro, I've been a Browns fan. I'm always going to be a Browns fan. And this is the year that I believe that the Browns are going to win the AFC North title. And we're going to be in the AFC Championship. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but this is going to be one of those years that our Browns finally get over that damn hump. I'll tell you that much. I mean, when you look at the pieces that we got, well, we got Kareem Hunt, too, who's going to be out 8 games, but we got Duke Johnson in place right there to suffice until he comes back.
This is how I look at this situation. All right, you might not like this. This situation is going to be either very good or it's going to be not good at all.
Why do you think that?
Because you got to think, Beans. That's like when the Lakers went and got Karl Malone. They had Kobe. They had Shaq. They had all you got all the pieces. But if they don't know how to gel together and they don't, and their coach don't, because you got a lot of playmakers. That's a lot of guys to get the ball to. Now when I say it could be very good, now if they figure it out,
Karl Malone was old as fuck. When he went to the Lakers. Gary Payton was old as hell when he went to the Lakers. I'm just going about. I'm hearing you out. Go ahead.
I'm just giving you a comparison. Like, okay, we got all these pieces. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget about the guys that they picked up front on the defensive line.
Right. So we ain't worried about them. We worry about how the ball's gonna be distributed. That's what you're going, right?
The ball gonna be, you got to figure out how. Do they still? Hold on. So who's the offensive coordinator now? They got a new offensive coordinator, right?
Yes, somebody. I can't remember who they hired as the OC.
That's the most important thing.
But no, check that. I think Freddie's still going to call the offense. Yeah, Freddie Kitchens he's the head coach, but he's going to still be in control of the offense.
All right. Well, look, I want them to be great this year. I hope the Browns, Odell Beckham coming to Cleveland. This is the biggest thing since LeBron coming back. You know,
it is
from was it Miami, coming back from Miami, man, and it's a big deal, man. And you better believe the city of Cleveland gonna be lit.
Oh man, there's no question. I mean, if the Browns make the playoffs and win the AFC North championship, and let's say they get to the AFC title game, that will be bigger than LeBron James winning the championship in Cleveland. Because like I know, the Browns fans compared to the Cavs fans, yeah, it was cool to have a championship for the city of Cleveland. It was great. But if the Browns get an AFC North championship and go to the AFC title game, dude, that's going to erupt in that city. I mean, those guys that are on that football team right now will be legends forever. Because you know why? Nobody's been able to do it.
You got a great point, Beans, because when the Cavs were sorry, even before LeBron got there, you could literally walk in the Cavs game.
Yeah.
At the Browns game,
even though they weak right now, you still got to fight to get some tickets, man.
They were still in there. But I don't know if you seen. I think they sold out for the year.
I believe it. I mean, this is the year.
Sold out. They sold out.
This is the year. I mean, Cleveland Browns, man. That's my team. we go. We gonna make it happen, man. But off of the Browns, man, and off of all that, we got something very important on the horizon here, and that's spring football. Mm-hmm. Spring football has always been a time for guys to kind of get their feet wet, guys to kind of get better, and for when you got guys coming in, the lesser players, the unknown guys, or even some of the known guys. I mean, to really get a grasp on how they're going to be. And one of the guys that we obviously have to pay attention to and look at is Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's your assessment on Justin Fields, and what's your assessment on spring ball and what we can look at and expect out of the guys this year?
I seen the other day that he lost his black stripe.
Lost his black stripe. Yep.
So that's a big deal. But he has some big shoes to fill, man. And I mean, obviously, everybody thinks us signing or getting Justin Fields is just gonna be a walk in the park. We're gonna be, he's gonna be great and all those things. But it's gonna take some time.
Right.
I think this time right now is the most important time for him to get used to playing with the guys that he's playing with, get the schemes down, get the playbook down. This is a big time of the year for Justin Fields. The two positions that I want to see, obviously in spring ball is, number one is, last year we struggled a lot in the secondary.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing who steps up and plays a big role this year in our secondary. And obviously we know we got J.K. coming back, but Ohio State has always been kind of like a two-back system. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking to see who that backup will be, because the backup guy always plays a big role in Ohio State's offense. Obviously, the offensive line is a big factor, but my two positions was the backup at running back and the secondary for the defense, because obviously having a great backup at running back, that's always a good thing. And then our secondary, we struggled there, so I'm looking for us to get better in that area. And obviously see him play and see how he plays with the guys. That's number one. But I'm a true Ohio State fan. Played for Ohio State, but my expectations are up here
Always.
So I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'm right here.
I'm excited. I actually want to try. We should try to go to practice here soon.
Oh, that's no question. That's no doubt, man.
Let's go. We should go check them out so we can give our people some more insight on what the guys are doing and how the new coaches are coming and yeah.
I've seen a little bit already so far, and I like what I see from Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's a very good quarterback, but he's not by any stretch of imagination Dwayne Haskins. And I think people need to, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but he's not going to be the guy that we see having those 500-yard passing games. Yeah. I don't think that.
Now, is he more like
he's more
Braxton Miller?
So I wouldn't even say Braxton. I wouldn't say as athletic as Braxton. If I can compare him to anybody, I would say J.T. Barrett with a better arm. And that's a damn good quarterback.
I thought he could run.
What you mean? J.T. could run.
Hey, yeah, he could run.
J.T. was awesome when he pulled the ball out. You remember all those third and shorts that we all?
Yeah, no. He could run. I'm talking about like I thought Fields was like one of those guys like Braxton when he running that.
I don't think he's like Braxton was a freak of an athlete. I mean, at quarterback, that was something insane.
Yeah.
But when you watch J.T. Barrett, I think J.T.'s had those 700, 800, 900-yard rushing seasons at times. So, I mean, that's a damn good quarterback. If we get another J.T. Barrett, but with a better arm, in which I think Justin Fields has, I think we're in good shape.
Nah.
And it's going to still be tailored. The offense is still kind of going to be that spread, read option type deal. I think you can run that successfully. And I'm looking at the depth chart, man. And
who's the backup? Oh, well.
Matthew Baldwin is in the race to be the backup quarterback, to be the number 2 guy, which is always important because, when you're in the quarterback, when you at Ohio State and the quarterback does run the football, you're going to be exposed a little bit to injury. But my positions that I really want to see, is the backup running back, Demario McCall. He's a guy I've been clamoring for a number of years. And I think it's never been confirmed, but I just always had this hunch that he was probably in Urban Meyer's doghouse because the dude could flat out ball. When he get the ball in his hands, the dude is electric. Mm-hmm. He's one of those individuals that can take it the distance from anywhere on the field, can break your ass down in the hole. Mm-hmm. Do some serious things. They got him and Master Teague as the backup running backs, but I could potentially see Demario McCall taking that spot over and that H-back spot that we always had, with Paris Campbell. Mm-hmm. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Also, the number 1 wide receiver spot. That's going to be Austin Mack. Austin Mack, you knew he had the ability. Obviously, he had some inconsistencies with some drops at times. So I want to see how much better he's going to be this year being the main guy. Benjamin Victor, another guy that, played sparingly, but when he was out there, I think down the stretch, he made some big plays, made a huge impact. Yeah. And the fact that Ohio State is not going to have, Paris Campbell, Johnny Dixon, Terry McLaurin to take that opportunity away from Austin Mack, Benjamin Victor, and KJ Hill and those guys. I don't think we should see one of those systems like we saw in years past where we're playing 10 different wide receivers. That's not probably not going to happen. I don't think that's the best thing to be happening. Obviously you want to get guys out there that are going to make an impact, but I think you need to allow guys to get into a rhythm. And I hope this spring the offense is allowing those marquee guys that I just mentioned to be the marquee guys. Be the guys on the offense to kind of touch the ball, make the plays. And like you said, on the defensive end, you were more concerned about the secondary. I am as well, but I'm really worried about the linebacking core. Malik Harrison, I think he's pretty good. Tough Borland is a guy that he was solid last year, and I know he was coming off the Achilles, so hopefully he has more time to get healthy. But, in space, he wasn't very good. Yeah. He would kind of get circles around him in space, and I want to see him be better. And I'm chalking that a lot up to him coming off of the Achilles injury so soon. So I want to see him be better at the point of contact, be better in space. I want to see Pete Warner be better. So, some of those young guys on the defensive and at the defensive linebacker spot, I want to see those individuals be a lot better. Safety, Jordan Fuller was a guy that, played up and down. I want to see him come in and be the guy. Mm-hmm. Brendan White, I thought he was phenomenal last year when he got an opportunity to play. This spring is definitely going to be one of those deals that I'll be paying close attention to because I want to see how this team is going to be. I want to see what we're going to look like with Ryan Day at the helm and it being his team start to finish. So that shit is important to me, man. Knowing that you got a guy that is not going to be micromanaged like he was at points in time last year. I mean, so that's going to be critical, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you said some key things, and I mean, you said another big thing. I mean, the linebackers was obviously, we had some poor play at linebacker last year. So
really check this. I mean, boom, we won. How many games did we win last year? 13. Did we win 13 games last year? Something like that.
Yeah, with the bowl game. Yeah.
With Ohio, and we lost one game with Ohio State's worst defense ever from a statistical standpoint. I mean, that's crazy. We were Ohio State's worst defense ever when you break down the stats. Yeah. And now, obviously, we got talented guys on the defensive end. We got some new coaches that are going to come in and certainly help that. But when you look at we're Ohio State's worst defense and we still won 13 games.
That's crazy.
That was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And to look at, we got a lot of young guys coming back, new coaches coming back, going to put those guys in better spaces. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
It's funny because when we was in school, obviously we put up points and everything like that. But we used to lean on our defense to make it happen, sometimes for us to win some games.
Right.
Because, we would score our points, but our defense, that was the thing. At Ohio State, you're always going to have some great linebackers.
Right.
You're always going to have a couple DBs that's going to go in the first round. And our defensive line, we're always going to have at least one defensive lineman.
But we rotated a bunch of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the same on what they do here with the rotation standpoint. But another thing, man, I want to hit on before we get up out of here, I know we hit on a bunch of different topics, is the Tate Martell situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, Tate Martell was deemed eligible to play at the University of Miami right away.
Yeah.
I found it a little bit shocking because when you look at his argument being that I had a coaching change, and the NCAA said, okay, you got a coaching change. Go ahead and be eligible right now. That shit is wild because, like Will was saying before we started the show, his position coach became the head coach. So, I mean, how much leg do you have to stand on when you're the NCAA and when you're him and you're reversing, not really reversing, but changing what's kind of been a precedent with guys having to sit out and saying, you know what, you no longer have to sit out right now because your coach left.
NCAA is soft now.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love
like
the fact that, guys are able to go and play right away.
Yeah,
I think they all should be able to.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Congratulations to him, having an opportunity to play right away. Obviously, we were happy. Justin Fields has the opportunity. I think it's just one of those situations where they don't even want to deal with having to go through the whole process of, all right, well, this guy – I think it's one of those things. You come in there with a good story, they're going to be like, all right.
But that wasn't a good story, though.
Exactly.
The coaching change, that's not a good story.
It's not a good story. You're right. But it's just kind of like one of those things like, all right, we got bigger problems to worry about. So, okay, you say your coach left and went to a new school, whatever, or
see, I ain't buying that. I really wonder what the conversation was like that led to them making a decision and allow him to be eligible, because it brings up an even larger issue and a larger story. College football free agency, essentially. Yeah. Are we going to start seeing guys just transfer and not having to sit out?
Yeah.
Personally, I would love the shit because we see coaches leave all the time. Even if they did it. Now, I don't want to see everybody being able to leave and just jump ship. But when you have the situations to where, the coaches jump ship and they change and take another job, I think you should open it up for everybody to be able to do so. I think there should be certain parameters set in place for kids, criteria that they need to meet for them to be able to leave and play right away. And I don't think it should be, you need to graduate to be able to do it, because sometimes people are at a disadvantage because maybe they're in their coach's doghouse, or because the coach doesn't like them or their story or how they may go about things, and they're not going to play. And you're just buried here, and you don't want to leave because, I got to sit out a whole another year. And like I know, when you're out a year, you're behind that much more.
Yeah, I think what you said. I think that should be fair. If a coach takes a new job or if a coach is fired, it should be all open. Everybody should have the option to, if they want to leave and go to another school, or I think they should be able to do that and be able to play automatically. That's just my opinion.
I certainly think they should be able to, man. I think, the NCAA has a lot of things that they need to fix and a lot of things that they need to work on.
Don't let
and,
me get started on them.
Not holding kids hostage to a university is one of them. And I get there's going to be that other side out there that says, you signed this letter of intent, you committed to play this football team. Well, we see coaches do it all the time. And, I just don't think they should have that much control over a kid's career and where he intends to go to school, especially if he's a good student. If he's a good student, I think that should be the criteria right there. Shit. If the kid's a good student and he's meeting all the qualifications and meeting all the standards and he's excelling in the classroom to a level over and above the average student at that university, shit, let him go on and play, man. Let him do his thing. Don't just hold him hostage.
I agree.
So, man, that's pretty much a wrap. I know we hit on a bunch of different things, but I just wanted to sit down, chit-chat with Boom about, shit that transpired over the weekend.
I did like this, and
man, we're gonna keep on bringing it to you, man. Obviously, we're gonna mix in our guests here and there, but we're definitely gonna have times where it's just us just chit-chatting about some of the things that we see in the landscape of sports, man. So keep on tuning in to Beanie and The Boom. Here's talk about March Madness. Listen to us talk about college football, Ohio State basketball, and a little bit what's going on in the NBA and always the NFL. Thanks a lot.